Hey there, it's your MC operator here. Hope you guys are doing well. Again, I'd like to thank my beautiful bride for assisting on the camera.
Cheers.
Hey, babe, thank you so much. Um, just want to make a quick video from a Californian's carry perspective. Um, this is why the purchases in California have to be so intelligent out the gates because everything has to be calculated here in California. In most states, if you get your carry license, you have a class to go through, you have a qualification to acquire and successfully complete. But at that point, whatever you have in your safe, you're able to carry. Californians aren't that lucky. Um, First of all, if you are even lucky enough to be in an area where the sheriff is actually pro Second Amendment, um, because each county has the right to sort of make it really easy on you or really difficult on you to acquire your carry license permit. So I fortunately live in an area that is somewhat Second Amendment friendly. And so our sheriff they have the right to decide whether you are going to be allowed 2 firearms on your permit or 3. My county allows 3. So I'm going to give you a quick look at the firearms that I choose to have on my carry permit. And then in future videos, I will take them one by one and do a deeper dive into each firearm. But right now, I just want to kind of show you just kind of what I have on my permit and what I choose to carry. Um, right now, we are dealing with 3 pre-checked and safe firearms. So they are all locked open, but I will show that they are clear. So we have nothing in the firearm, no magazine. The chamber is open and clear. We have a clear firearm there. Empty firearm. We have a safe firearm. Each magazine you see before you have snap caps in them. So we'll go ahead and just install those. These are just practice rounds, so they are dummy rounds, so very safe. All firearms are safe and clear and ready to talk about. So let's address one little elephant in the room. One of these firearms is not on the California roster. And so this VP9 from Heckler and Koch is not on the California roster. I had the benefit of knowing someone in law enforcement, corrections, and he bought the firearm for himself, enjoyed it for a short time, but decided he wanted to take a deeper dive into really kind of gooching up his Glock. And so, being that he and I are good friends and family, damn near, he made an offer to me, which was too good to pass up. And God bless him. I was able to acquire basically a firearm from that I had really, really wanted for a very long time. So, to that gentleman he knows who he is, thank you. I love you. Appreciate you. So this firearm here, you cannot go down to your local gun store and purchase it if you are not in law enforcement or in corrections. So kind of just sort of wetting your whistle and taking it right back from you. The Glock 19, of course, everybody can buy a Glock 19. This is a Gen 3, which is the only generation that we are allowed here in California. But as we get a closer look, you can tell that I've done some major work to this. My Glock 19 is actually one of my wife's favorite firearms. So it's really, she says it's hers. So, but since the addition of the HK VP9 SK, she's kind of vacillating a little bit. So, I don't know which one's her favorite anymore. So maybe they're running neck and neck.
They are.
But one of the things that makes this Glock 19 so comfortable is I've had a lot of work done. This is my Gucci Glock. I've had the frame manipulated and stippled, and finger grooves removed, and a few other nice touches. And then I discovered a company called L2D Combat. I was looking at a SHOT Show one year, and the owner and GM, Greg, was being interviewed. And when they started showing his slides, I was just moved beyond belief. So I actually had the honor of actually talking to Greg a few times, and he walked me through my purchase, and we became friends. And I'm proud to rep his firearm. And then third, and still amazing firearm as well. And actually, this brand here is CZ USA. And CZ is overlooked by a lot of people, and to their discredit, because let me tell you, CZs are probably one of the best firearms on the market. And not enough people really know that. And so for a long time, if you were not a CZ fanboy or someone who did their homework, you would see this in the case and walk on by. But let me tell you something. One of the best firearms going. The brand is amazing. The ergonomics are amazing. I would say these two firearms here, the ergos are beyond amazing. And I turned the ergos into very comfortable by the manipulations of the frame. But out the box, Glocks are not the most ergonomic pistol. They're kind of blocky. We all know that. And I have small hands. And again, one of the reasons why it was leading the pack for a long time, and now just slightly leading the pack. With the manipulation of my frame, it fits my wife's hand as well. Let's take a closer look at these firearms. We'll get this one first. And the first thing you're going to notice on all my firearms, I said it in another video, I am a huge advocate of lights on my firearms. So all three of my firearms you'll see that I carry have lights on them. And with Olight came out with this little small light, the PL Mini, and actually, I'm sorry, the PL Mini 2, pardon me. And so this now has taken the subcompact firearms to another level, because it used to be if you had a subcompact firearm, you really couldn't find a light that fitted, and it just didn't work. So the Picatinny was more for aesthetics per se. But as you can see now, it is a full functioning piece of the equipment. And also too, I think you've heard me say in other videos, my eyes are horrible. I can't see anything. So traditional sights don't work for me. So I try to red dot every firearm that I have in my home. As my folks say, it's pricey, but for me, if you can't really see the traditional sights, it's worth the extra miles on the money. This is the Holosun 507C. When I was researching red dots, the big dog out there, and still I guess pretty much is, was the Trijicon RMR. And people still refer to red dots as RMRs. So that's just how ultimately popular that is. But for me, I didn't like the viewing window of the RMR. I didn't like the dot on the RMR. I didn't like really just anything about the RMR myself, really. So when I saw Holosun talking about this again at SHOT Show before it came out, I knew that was the red dot for me. So I could not wait for them to reach the market. This is one of two that I have. I will be acquiring a third because the GLOCK needs one as well. I had one on there before, but I shifted my bedside gun to another firearm, which we'll talk about another time. But so until I purchase another Holosun, the Glock will be naked for a while, and so my wife gets to have that one because I can't see the dots. Anyway, but this firearm, HK makes impressive firearms. So the accuracy is bar none, one of the best. The trigger out of the box is it's fabulous. Babe, actually, can you get a close up of this trigger? I'm gonna adjust it here. You can see there's just a little bit of take up on the trigger, and then just an absolute clean break. And the reset is short and also tactile, but I'm not going to really show you that, only because of the fact that when I teach people about double tapping and rapid firing, to really make that happen consistently and properly and quick, your finger, it needs to come off the trigger. And so when we start talking about different things to practice, grip and those kind of things, I will explain to you what I mean behind that trigger manipulation. So, it's basically drop the trigger, finger out, take up the slack, drop it again. So when you're learning, some people will teach the reset. I don't do that. I teach you how to go double tap right away because you need to learn out the block. So I'm not going to show you the reset, and that's why. So let's talk about the Glock. So again, this Glock is fitted with mostly L2D combat internals. The slide is called the Catalyst. They have several slides that are really, very nicely done. But every manipulation or cut has a purpose. So they have a perfect blend of taking a little bit off so that when you do install the red dot, the slide will still track perfectly and function without malfunctions. So their calculations are excellent. They're it's handsome. Even my sights are from L2D Combat as well. The trigger I have on here is also from L2D Combat. The magwell, L2D Combat. But one caveat about this magwell, the fact that because we are in California and we have neuter magazines, the OEM California magazines will not work in here. So if I can show you, I use the Magpul magazines, and they will allow the functionality of the Glock. But the California OEM magazines, the 10 rounders, won't function along with the L2D Combat magwell. So that is one thing you will have to give up. But to me, the looks and the function of this magwell is worth having to go and purchase a few more aftermarket mags. So I'm okay with that. But very handsome slide. Their logo is actually on the other side here. Babe, can you zoom in on that logo? Their logo is extremely tasteful and handsome. Did that show up on the awesome. So and again, I have their spring, I have their internals in here. I don't have one of their barrels, but hopefully that will happen as well. You can pan back out, babe. Also to the Surefire XC1B is the light I have on the Glock. Matches up really well. Also functions beautifully. The first generation of the XC1 had some issues, and I'll be honest, I had two of them at the time, and both of them were just so frustrating. I only utilized them because they fit the holsters that I had purchased for those particular firearms, but the lights were just really horrible. So I contacted Surefire, and the gentleman who I was working with really was he was awesome. He said, send him in, let me look at him, and I'll see what I can do. And to tell you honestly, as soon as I sent them in, he was already sending me two out to replace them. So there was the customer service was outstanding. So good on you for Surefire on that one. And so the last firearm I want to talk about again is the CZ PO1. And the CZ PO1, this firearm here is, again, probably one of the first things I would suggest somebody who is just buying their first firearm might look into, especially if they're looking into having, say, one gun for kind of do it all. The manual of arms is perfect for a new shooter. These two are both striker fire in their manual of arms. This is a single double action, so there's no safety. Babe, can you zoom in for me on this? So there's no safety on this firearm. It's just a decocker. And so obviously when I loaded the dummy round into the firearm, the hammer went to the single action position. So this is not a safe way to carry a firearm. The trigger pull is too light. So what we would do is we take this, and you can see the decocker's in a perfect spot. And then it takes that hammer to a half cock position, and it makes it a very long and kind of not super heavy, but a very careful trigger pull. So it gives you a moment of pause. It allows you to really, first of all, think about, do I want to really put this round down range? But also too, it gives you the ability. You can pan it back up, babe. It gives you the ability of when you decide to deploy this firearm, you can basically get on that trigger as you're bringing your target up, and begin to pull the trigger kind of as you're bringing your sights up. So it allows you to sort of pre-stage that trigger to the point of dropping it. So again, you don't deploy it and wait. You actually start pulling that trigger as you're gathering your sights. Again, what makes the CZs really stand out, the rails, actually I'm going to drop this for a second. Okay, so the rails, unlike most firearms where the slide will go over the rails, the CZ, the slide is inside the rails. So it really tracks in a very low borax kind of manner, but the accuracy is much more intense with the rails being inside. And so you can shoot quarter-size holes into your target. If you do your job, this thing is definitely going to do its job. Now, you can see I have a different sight on here than the 507C. And reason being is there's not enough real estate on the slide for the footprint of the 507C. So I went with my second favorite optic, which is the Vortex Venom. And it really mates very well with CZ slides. And Vortex has a great warranty system. It's a great company. Now it's just a single dot, so I have the 6 MOA dot as opposed to the Holosun, which has the pretty much the EOTech circle dot reticle. But again, this has a very functional red dot as well. I really want to kind of keep this video short. Again, I just want to kind of show you. As Babe will tell you, I'm wordy, so I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it. But each firearm will eventually have its own extensive video, so this is just more of a little basic information. So with that being said, you guys have an amazing day. It's your MC Operator and Babe signing out.